What is going on, good people of YouTube? It is me, Chavez, back with another Prize Picks video for you. This one is for Wednesday, February 8th, 2023. We got 9 games on the schedule for us. Looking at the Prize Picks board, we got a few props on here to look at, but not every team is represented. I thought we'd take this video, this early look video, this research video in a different direction. And rather than trying to pick props and figure out that sort of thing so early, I thought what I could do is provide you all with some statistics over each team that is playing tomorrow. And once we read through these statistics, we'll have a better idea on how we can attack those weaknesses for each team, and then come to our final look video. Once these props are on the board, we can actually start matching the stats with the actual props. So let's see how this works out for us, and let's just get right to it. Hope everyone is doing well today. Hope everyone is in great spirits, I should say. Tonight it's already 10:20 p.m. Austin Central Time, so let's just get started and head on over to props.cash and check out the Detroit Cleveland game. And listen, I want to be honest, there isn't a whole lot to like on the Detroit side, but I'm going to read you a few stats that stood out to me for both teams. So starting with Detroit, 29th in the NBA in points allowed, 25th in rebounds allowed, and 28th and 29th in field goals made and field goal percentage allowed. And then when it comes to the Cleveland Cavaliers, now they're a very, very stout defense. And we could take a look at the team rankings over here on lineups.com and check out Cleveland. And you can see that it's pretty green across the board for Cleveland. However, I noticed that over the last 2 weeks, Cleveland has allowed 29.1 points to the center position per game and 17.9 rebounds to the center position per game. So look at that Miles Turner game. He hit him up with 27 and 10. And then the combination of Porzingis and Gafford combined for 29 points and 15 rebounds. Now, that center position doesn't mean that one person did all that damage. It's just players that play that position on the opposing team contributed to that production. So in the case of the Washington Wizards, it was 2 centers. In the case of the Indiana Pacers, it was 1 center. So those are some things that stood out to me from the Detroit-Cleveland game. All right, moving into the Charlotte and Washington game. Now, Charlotte, very entertaining team, but just not all that good, to be honest with you. So Charlotte right now, 28th in points allowed, 29th in rebounds allowed, and 23rd in 3 points made. While Washington, on the other side, is allowing 29 points to the shooting guard per game, along with 3 3-pointers made and 5 assists per game. So when I hear shooting guard, when I hear those massive stats being allowed by the Washington Wizards, you think Rozier, you think Ball. You can attack this team with those 2 players. And then on the flip side, I mean, Charlotte's just allowing a ton of points and a ton of rebounds. So you look to Porzingis, you look to Gafford, and I don't know if Kuzma's playing or not. I really can't pull up any information. Well, let's see if we can pull up something in terms of injury news. Bradley Beal's questionable. Kuzma's questionable. If Kuzma plays tomorrow, then he's in play for sure. And it's so funny that props.cash has not updated that Rui Hachimura is no longer in Washington. Yeah, he's in LA, guys. Come on, let's fix that. All right, moving into the Philly-Boston game now. I didn't take any notes for this game. Honestly, both of these teams are just strong across the board. You see Boston stats, a little soft when it comes to giving up defensive rebounds or allowing defensive rebounds. And they will turn the ball over, man. Well, that's the defense. Defense doesn't cause a lot of turnovers, but you know Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown will turn the ball over. We know I target that quite often. And then in terms of Philadelphia, just real difficult to find any weaknesses with these teams. So really, this is just going to be probably the best game on the of the night, in my opinion. You got the two best teams in the Eastern Conference. I just look for the stars to step up here. If Jaylen Brown's available, then if he's not available, then Tatum carries more weight on his shoulders. However, I expect White and Brogdon to step it up like they did the last game. And then as far as Embiid goes, I think he eats. I know he eats tomorrow, but I do think that Robert Williams III will make it difficult for him and just contest a lot of the boards in the paint. So even though I think Joel Embiid will have a good game, I don't think he's just going to, dominate the Boston Celtics. Robert Williams makes a huge difference in that lineup. So I'll be looking at Tatum, the usual suspects in this game: Tatum, Embiid, Harden. If Brown's in there, obviously Brown. And we'll see what these props look like and see how we can attack each team tomorrow. All right, moving into the Indiana versus Miami game. Looking at their defensive, looking at their numbers. Indiana's 24th in points allowed, 26th in rebounds. 26th in rebounds, 28th in assists allowed, and 27th in the league in 3-point percentage allowed. They're not that good, guys. They're not that good. Miami 29th versus 3-pointers. So you know how we attack Miami. We attack them with 3-pointers. And who on the other side can hit them up for threes? You look at Buddy Hield. So we're already getting an idea of how we can attack these teams just by going over these stats without even looking at the props. We know where we want to go. We at least have an idea where we want to go with these games. So that is the Indiana-Miami game. That's what stands out to me. Moving into the San Antonio-Toronto game. And, San Antonio is worse than Indiana. Okay, listen to this. And I'll show you this. If you want the illustration, the presentation to accompany these stats here. San Antonio, 30th last in the NBA over points allowed, assists allowed, field goals made, field goal percentage, and 3-point percentage. They're last in all that. Look at all that red. Look at all that red on the screen. All right. Now, Toronto on the other side, 28th in field goal percentage and 29th in 3-point percentage. So you can attack both of these teams with, with shooting guards, Keldon Johnson, Fred VanVleet. All right. I'm thinking about those guys like right off the bat. I don't even know what their props are going to be, but just knowing these stats, I got an idea of where I want to go with this game. But both of these teams should score a lot of points, in my opinion, and San Antonio will give up a ton of points in this game for sure. All right, let's move into the Sacramento and Houston game. Now, these two, I feel like these teams play every week. I feel like they played like 9 times in the last 3 weeks. This is ridiculous. Now, this will be the third time they played in the last 7 or 8 days. That's a fact. So Sacramento, I mean, they just put a hurting on Houston last game. They are 27th in NBA in field goals made and field goal percentage. So Sacramento, even though they did put a hurting on Houston, they do have their weaknesses here in terms of giving up shots and, allowing other teams to make shots. And then Houston on the other end, oh, man, my Rockets, they are so bad. 25th in points allowed, 30th in 3-pointers made, and 26th in 3-point percentage. So, I mean, honestly, we can look at the game log from the last time these two teams met, like 2 days ago, and we can just see what they did, because De'Aaron Fox was making his return from like maternity leave. You had Sabonis, who had a pretty good game, but not a great game. But you really had Keegan Murray step up and have a career game. Keegan Murray had 30 points on 11 to 17 shooting. And you see Sabonis with 17, 7, and 10. Fox with 16, 4, and 8. I expect Fox to have a much better game. This was his first game back, okay, after a few game absence. So I expect him to have a better game. And then on the Houston side, Jalen Green put up 27 points, but a pretty balanced attack. Sengun with 15, Jabari Smith with 13, 18 for Kenyon Martin Jr., and 16 for Eric Gordon. But just look at this depth on the bench. Look at all these guys getting in the game. It's nice to see all the starters playing over 30 minutes, so we can look to attack both of these teams the same way we looked to attack them a couple of days ago. Nothing changes here. Only thing that changes is I think this game is being played in. Is this game being played in Houston again? Is it not being played in Sacramento? That's 2 back-to-back home games for Houston. Okay. All right. So I guess nothing changes at all with this game. All right. Moving into Minnesota versus Utah. Now, Utah, hold on. Because I thought they won that game. But I could be mistaken. They lost that game. Oh, wow. Okay. Utah's out for blood. They want their revenge. So Utah, 26th in field goals made on the season, 26 versus offensive rebounds and allowed, and 23rd in points allowed, while Minnesota just got kicked around the court tonight by the Denver Nuggets. So much, in fact, that I think Jokic didn't even play the fourth quarter, or play very little in the fourth quarter. Oh, man. Don't get me started on that taco prop for Jokic. 0.5 hook. Ugh, that's brutal, man. That's brutal. Minnesota, 28th in giving up offensive boards. Not a whole lot to like target with Minnesota. I mean, unless you're Nikola Jokic, you can just do whatever you want to whatever team you're playing. Yeah, it's just not a whole lot to target, and Utah doesn't have anybody on their side the caliber of Jokic. So I think this should be a way more competitive game for Minnesota, who will be playing their second night of a back-to-back. So just keep that in mind in terms of fatigue and all that kind of stuff. Dallas versus LA. Now, this game should be fun. This is why I have Irving on my thumbnail. He's making his debut. He'll be in Los Angeles. He's probably in LA right now. And Dallas gives up. They're 25th in the league in giving up defensive rebounds. So they are not good on the defensive end in terms of grabbing those boards. 26th and 27th in causing steals and blocks. Now, the reason I think this is interesting is they don't cause a lot of turnovers, and that equals more possessions for the other team that could end in a score. So just more opportunities for the Clippers to score. Really, that's it. When I look at the Clippers, not a whole lot to target, to be honest with you. Really, looking at the usual suspects in this game. If Kawhi plays, he's in play. If George is in, he's in play. Irving's in play. We'll see what happens with Christian Wood, if he gets moved tomorrow or not. But yeah, this game can get pretty ugly. But at least Kyrie's in the lineup, and that kind of balances out their offense. All right, last game on the slate, Golden State versus Portland. Golden State is 26th in points allowed in the NBA, and they are 26th in three-pointers made. So they make a lot of threes, and they give up a lot of threes as well. So when you look at Portland, obviously Dame Lillard stands out, Anthony Simons, maybe even sprinkling in a little bit of a Jeremy Grant in there. And then on the Portland side, they're giving up the 26. They're 26th in the NBA in field goal percentage allowed, 30th in turning opposing teams over. So much like Dallas, they do not cause a lot of turnovers. And so again, this equals more possessions that can end up in a score for the opposing team. So just more opportunities for Golden State to put a hurting on them. Yeah, I expect this game to be a bit more competitive, being that it's in Portland versus that game against OKC, who just got crushed. So that's a bit of research, like just not a whole lot going on the Prizepicks board right now to dig into. But again, really just wanted to cover stats with this video. Give you all an idea of where we can attack each team, what their weaknesses are, and then once these props are dropped, then we know who we can attack their weaknesses with, and then we can construct some solid slips. So thank you so much for stopping by the channel, ladies and gentlemen, and just checking this video out. Truly appreciate the time you've taken to do so. Do me a favor and drop me a comment below letting me know if you have a favorite prop on the board already, if you've locked anybody in already, who is standing out to you, who might even be a fade for you going into tomorrow's slate. Also, let me know what you think about this format in terms of going through the stats that support our potential props the next day. Let me know what you think about some of those statistics I talked about, and anything that stood out to you, any team in particular you're looking to target on this 9-game slate. And once again, thank you so much for stopping by the channel and just chilling out with me, talking some NBA props over here on Prizepicks and digging into some of this research with me. And until the next video, our final look video on Wednesday afternoon, Chavez is